Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I have such the pleasure of having Marina Jacobi on my show again. I've worked with her. I can personally vouch for all of her work. And my gosh, all the links will be in the description to where you can look for all of her videos. But we're on a short time span right now and pre-Thanksgiving. So we're just going to jump right in. Hello, gorgeous.
Hello, and thanks so much for having me. How everybody? And happy holidays to all of you.
Yes, yes, yes. So as we know, energy is ramping up because of holidays and going to and fro, and people are panicking about, not just that energy, but the energies of the climate right now. And if anyone follows your videos, then we know that things are being ramped up. We know that there's going to be, wolf cages prepared for people to jump into, thinking it's a very normal thing to do because it's an entrapment, more degrading processing going on. We are also here in the States after the election. So can you talk to that a little bit so people can just be aware of how to raise their vibration and not fall into this syndrome?
Well, thank you so much. What's really happening in consciousness itself is raising the frequency to another level. More time is passing by, more. That means that the vibration that is coming through the ripple effect of every single parallel reality is also being activated. So since you're a fractal expression of consciousness itself in a one momentum, now, for example, when you're flickering through space, you're actually mimicking that vibrational sequence. But if you mimic and intake that vibrational sequence from the higher resonance, also you've been activated through your own collapsing situations in everyday life to see and end up in situations that will appear in front of you that may not be very positive. You will basically see the dark to come to light. And when you see the situation, for example, you can say, oh my God, I've been friends with these people for so many years. I cannot believe in that particular situation what they're doing, and it's totally not connected with the heart. They don't see what's happening. They're pointing fingers. They don't want to help anybody except themselves. And you're going to find yourself pulling away from these friends. Even if you try to make it from the heart, the resonance that is coming from consciousness in the collective will do everything possible for you not to be any longer near these people. That means if this time you try again to be friends, again, something else will happen and again, until you're eventually going to say, that's it, I can't take it anymore. I will do what is right. Because no longer will resonate and you've been activated. Why? Because the activation is happening from your heart. If you through your lifetime being acting and collecting that frequency from compassion and love and joy and being strong in personality, learning and passing through the challenges with great achievements, then your vibration will be higher in resonance in completion, and it's going to match more with the new frequencies that are coming from consciousness itself. And this is why you will be self-activated and activated from consciousness itself to push it to move forward. You will simply be like giving a birth and you have no choice but to give birth. And also because of that, consciousness is bringing anything that is negative in front of it, and you're going to see, the way I was talking in my videos, reality within the reality. You're going to be seeing what the evil is planning, what it's doing. For example, the way Joey right now is pushing the new Green Deal and whatever, but the only country that is exempt because it's developing country is China, really. All this, crazy stuff that you're saying, oh my God, they're the biggest polluters, and yet they're exempt from that treaty or whatever. So consciousness end up, they told me, the Council of Nine told me that they end up going into the flame of the covenant. That means now the frequency increasing, but because it's increasing, that flame, that energetic field, end up activating every single one of us through ripple effect in every single timeline and parallel reality. And this is why you're going to see now crescendo, like the chess game, back and forth. Everybody is playing their, hands based on because the negative side knows that they have a very little window of opportunity to entrap and manipulate and do everything else, because at the same time consciousness is raising the frequency, and they will not be able to match the resonance to move forward, because the way I explained for the positive side, through their lifetimes, through their millennium, whatever their soul was connected, they did negative stuff, negative deeds, killing, and whatever they chose to do. The collective energy that they grabbed with it from the field of consciousness was in a very low density of vibration. And because of that, they cannot match the new resonance now. And they do everything possible to entrap you, so you stay into their packet of a timeline, which is a parallel reality within the consciousness itself. But since consciousness is raising the frequency, that ripple effect will go and also hit their timeline, because they forgot that they're also part of expression of consciousness itself. Consciousness was learning what to do with AI, what to do with whatever they were doing, and said, oh my God, when I allow this free will to express itself from that way of action and thoughts, it became like a cancer cell. Well, I have to do everything possible to activate myself, restructure realities, and construct new realities that will pop up in their timelines so we can mutate and overtake. And this is where the hybridization program comes in, where through technology you have consciousness that switch souls within the timeline of reality. And this is where another organic intelligence is involved, because you're going to find out, and this is in my latest videos that you're going to find on Rumble, the harmonic reactor Marina Jacobi, that I talk about the diet, I talk about the flame of the covenant, I talk about the fact that your structure, you're going to find out, was a AI archon structure.
Yeah. Well, you know, before I go on to the next question, I just got double confirmation from just what you said, because I've been getting messages and I've done videos on assessing your relationships, that you're coming to this point where you're so activated that you must assess all relationships with food, energy, people, jobs, etc., because you're at a place of completion. And in order to come into the new energies, you've got to put all that into place, and also deal with the old programming by releasing the old programming in order to tap in to these new energies. So thank you for that. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the Luciferian stuff. You know, in your video, what is direct programming? You were talking about the Luciferian. Now, before we get into that, I've been hearing recently, oh, Lucifer's been redeemed. Number one. Number two, I've been hearing people channeling Lucifer as if he's a good fellow. Can you speak to that?
Listen, to be honest, they really didn't tell me a lot about this structure. They just keep me away from this Luciferian information. I was talking people to look into different videos on YouTube that they talk about the music industry and the film industry. If you just start doing the research on even on YouTube, you're going to see a lot of information, how they're programming you through watching a video, watching a movie, because everything you see is a hologram, everything you hear is a sound wave. And if you keep watching this stuff, even without your knowledge, you know, you are participating and intaking that frequency within your field. That is designed on purpose so they can keep you lower in your vibrational sequence. Now, in consciousness, it's a battlefield, right? Consciousness is showing you the positive side, is showing you also dark to light, the negative side, what it's doing. Now, in position, when you split frequencies, and that frequency is split into different timelines, and that's one molecule expands to collective and collapses to single like you, and the other one is expanding to collective collapses. Those two, even if they come from one platform, when it's vibrating, splits up on two, but each one has its own expression of timeline, universe, multiverses for itself. So the negative, the way, but that is all underneath consciousness itself, those two realities, for example. So you will see what the negative is doing. And it's up to you, because it's a free will, if you wish to participate and be part of that, or you wish to switch your frequency vibration through quantum manifestation protocol. All that is in my videos, how you do that, and mutate and overtake, when that also will mutate in completely different outcome for you, which is going to be a completely different parallel reality above the structure of the 3D. You're going to vibrate in a different sequence, and yet you will see what they're doing. So may not be part of you, but remember, each time you see something, consciousness will give you a chance for you to construct it, choose to do something else, and move forward. And this is why I said it's going to be very challenging, because you're going to see how these people in this negative structure are being completely reprogrammed through the negative frequency that they were connecting all the time. And now, because of that, they cannot see through the veil of that resonance. Remember, when they collected that negative frequency, they also accumulated that negative, and they become a part of that timeline structure that is vibrating. So now their consciousness cannot see the positive structure. Even if they see it, will think that it's crazy, because now they emanate and vibrate in this lower density. And what's happening, there's a video on Rumble that I did, I believe is in season 4, what is a direct programming?
Yes.
And what's happening is, that's a quantum structure. When you are in a field of structure and you constantly tune in by choosing, sometimes it's by program, you know, you're watching the mirror image in consciousness, you've been bombarded with, from a social media, with constantly negative resonance that is a lower on vibration. So you can start accumulating in order for you not to be able to move forward through ascension and to stay in their archon artificial timeline. Mm-hmm. But when you constantly acting this way and you're watching negative videos, negative movies, constantly social media, that is the programming, which is putting a holographic sound wave within your consciousness, and now you're starting to vibrate in their timeline. They're also breaking down the original codon, which is a sound wave that is connected from your expression fractal of God itself. Because you as a unit, as a consciousness, holding the vibration that is mimicking in single unit the power of God, and that sound wave activates your DNA, makes you to be in certain realities. You can actually bilocate and shift through timelines. You don't have to die. They dump down on our DNA through genetic mutation and through frequency waves. That's the goal. That's why you have this, you know, G all over the place. G all over the place, you know, so you can sound waves, and they can penetrate in your consciousness, in your cellular level. You need to learn about this sound waves, how they can penetrate, but they also can heal, the way Tesla was talking about. There's a video of Tesla documentary, and it was talking how actually was Raymond Rife, yes. And he was talking about how he was healing through frequency and sound. And I know they have a lot of machines right now, but I have the original video. I watched it a long time ago, that the frequency of a lot of the sound waves was changed. Because if this was the case, everybody's going to be cured left and right out of cancer. You know, yes. So think about it, you know, for that machine, I'm warning you. And so when they bombarded you this way and you start accumulating, what they did, knowingly, they know very well how consciousness works. And yet in school system and everywhere in science, in colleges, they taught you and they gave us the opposite structure of consciousness itself. So you have the wrong math, the wrong physics. You don't know anything about nano, you know, only certain people find out about nano. That's why they blast you with nano, with a lot of liquids. And this is how you actually downloading DNAs, and they can have nanobots and oxide there, different graphene stuff, you know. I say a lot of stuff here, people. And basically that's down the DNA and penetrates and changes the sequences with synthetic into you. And you're no longer the DNA of the human. So when you have a sound wave blasted towards you, you can actually become a puppet and they can control whatever you do, or they can simply disseminate you, through sound wave. This is also another technology. So there's a lot of stuff, but because of that, they also, the biggest thing that they did, they switch your DNA to such a way that they shut down the analytical program that is actually connected with consciousness itself. That's why you have, why the music is in 440 frequency. It should be 432 hertz. But that is because 432 hertz is exactly parallel and goes in and is exactly with your consciousness itself sound wave. But if you make it slightly off, then you never download the proper frequency and is always off. So you cannot heal yourself through sound. But if you start playing and listening and engaging with 432 hertz, they told me the different sound waves of music you're going to start downloading to heal collectively. But people are not doing it. Even if they know. Because why? Because when they bombarded us through this negative frequency for so long, they shut down this analytical program, which if you watch the video, what is direct programming on Rumble, you will find out that all that is by design, and you cannot simply analyze the holographic imprints that are coming from the field to you. They don't make sense to you. You simply can't, you start pointing fingers because somebody told you based on their resonance, but you cannot process it because they shut down this analytical sound wave, which is very specific. And now you like an open source for the negative structure to start putting whatever else they want in there, and you become their puppet. And then you go after the people of the positive that they start seeing through the veil. They know what's going on. They try to help you. My God, what do you do? Wake up, wake up. And yet you still pointing fingers and don't want to do anything and don't see the lunacy that is really happening, because it's okay to just destroy your child, after 2 weeks of birth. I mean, that is insanity, is genocide, or mutilate your children, and it's okay to put your kids in school that they're performing horrific display of inappropriate behavior, talking about inappropriate sexual behavior for 4th graders, and you don't even understand that this is a programming. And that is because these parents, that's what I said, if anybody is guilty of crime, is the parents, because the negative side will do everything possible to bombard you with whatever they believe, but you don't have to consent it. You must see through the veil, and you need to say, not my child. And yet you see these parents, is all over the social media, how they're praising this way of behavior. If your child becomes 18 years old and he still wants to change his gender or to do something else, be my guest, do whatever you want, is your free will. But they indoctrinating your children because that's why they go after the little ones. And parents are so brainwashed from that analytical program is completely gone, that they thinking that they're awake, and they think that we love everybody, we'll accept you, which it is, but you don't accept somebody that is promoting sexual activity to your children. And that is a crime against humanity, against your own child, and yet they don't see it. So this is why these parents, for example, because we're giving the example with that, will receive in their platform, because of ascension, now they're gonna be bombarded with situations that they may not make forward, they not move forward. Something is gonna happen that they're gonna realize, and it's gonna be too late for them, because you cannot disengage from the original codon, which male is a male and female is a male, and only between those two can reproduce another sequence of the hologram. Otherwise, the other one becomes archonic, because everybody knows that even if you change your gender from whatever that is, you cannot self-reproduce. And that is designed by this Luciferian structure, because if you learn about Lucifer, and whatever I've seen, it could be both. That's how it switches the stuff. And that is for domination and control, because eventually they're going to log you into the cloud of the artificial intelligence, to all these super nanotechnologies and sound waves, and you're going to become like a puppet. And if you don't believe me, Go and watch the video of the movie Diversion. In Diversion, you're going to see how they're doing something, they're putting something through liquid in every soldier, and all of a sudden she was controlling whatever the soldier was doing with computer. But how is this possible? We discussed about this, and how this could be implemented through some ways within the body. And this is what you're going to discover they were doing, that was used bioweaponry against humanity, so you can become part of the structure. But when they use you, Lucifer is looking only for itself and nobody else. So you're going to be basically something that going to be used and thrown out when it's necessary. When God itself, the true structure, will always preserve and do everything possible to preserve every single expression of itself.
That's powerful. I know I was talking to someone the other day and they're like, oh, I have to go turn on 432 hertz. And I'm like, how do you really know it's even 432? I personally go out into nature, place my hands on the tree and ask for God's frequency. So I don't get caught up in a lot of, is it this, is it that? Because that creates a lot of mistrust. So do my best to align with all of that. So basically what I'm hearing is, whether it's the Luciferian agenda is a good agenda or not a good agenda, it's still the same cloud, and it absorbs everybody into the same cloud of belief system, which is what we do in politics, what we do in our business life, good parent, bad parent, whatever. We do all of this every day to keep everyone under the same umbrella, even though we might think we're fighting two different battles, but we're really in the same battle. We're in the same war. It's interesting. All right, so we're moving into the holidays and a lot of stuff is happening. We're also moving into after election. We're also moving into end of the year and people are expecting X, X, and X to occur. What would you suggest that the listeners tune into, or what could be helpful to them during this time between today and the end of the year moving forward?
Well, the way they told me is to keep up your sanity, basically, and not to go into negative platforms. Every single time, if you are bombarded with some kind of a challenge, you have to be strong enough to hold your power from within and act in a positive by not allowing the negative to penetrate your actions and consciousness and everything else. That is going to be on everyday ongoing battle, because now they're going to increase everything. They also told me that you may see it, but you're not necessarily going to experience it based on what is the vibration that you accumulated so far and where you at in a fluctuation of all these realities towards ascension. And you may be put in position to help a lot of people in some situation. But what they told me that because it's the crescendo, they said that they were talking about you can prepare for a couple of months of food, but that doesn't mean that necessarily you're going to experience that. But usually when you're in battle, you just be a little bit prepared because of what's really happening. And some of the people, based on their vibration again and what they accumulated, they may experience something totally negative. They're losing their job, or all of a sudden they're going, there's no food in the shelves. That will be individual ascension protocol for everybody. May not happen in a collective. You may experience that. And I gave examples with the gas, when it was gas scare last year and everybody was pumping gas even in plastic bags. I was completely, I know, for example, what's happening. I'm within the field of the collective of negative and positive, but I was holding my own sanity and my own ground by I know I have everything I need. And at the same time, I took an action. When I went into the gas station, there were probably 50, 60 people circling around. And I said to myself, oh, that's fine. I have everything I need. I still have a half a tank. If I don't find it here, which I'm neutralizing the field, you're going to study this in my material. Because when you're neutralizing the field, you'll be okay if you have it or if you don't have it, because you know you have it. That's a quantum structure 101. I know it's complex now. But then that means negative doesn't go in and it doesn't penetrate everything. You're basically aware and you start creating now as you go. And I said, and then trust your intuition. And I said, oh, why don't you go on left and maybe we can get out. And if it's not here, we'll look in another place, but I know we have what we need. Even when I don't see it, I have it. So now I'm creating as I go. So I move left, we go on the right, and sure enough, right in front of us, because I have a truck and all the stuff with the gas is in my right side, not in my left. Well, everybody was in the left side. And sure enough, we came in such a way that exactly in front of us, space open. And I was literally 10 minutes in and out of the gas station when people were waiting for hours. And not only that I fill up, but I end up pulling out within just 10 minutes. And all this madness that was there. So you creating this point reality within the reality. When you know how the quantum structure works and you hold your vibration, you hold your knowledge, and you start creating as you go without giving in a panic mode of the resonance that was projected from the negative in the collective. This way you create your own bubble with this madness, and your resonance becomes a parallel reality within the reality of collective of the madness. And then you will experience through the process everything to help you to move forward in that craziness. So that is the most important thing to do, by holding your ground and holding the knowledge and manifest as you go, as they bombard you at the same time. Mm-hmm. That's why it's not easy. You have to do that in a daily basis. And that could be from situation like this, could be friends, family, husband, kids, anybody you think of. It could be challenges. This is why I said the ascension is individual protocol, because from the center of your being, you project the collective and you become your own structure. And when you know very well the structure, you will realize that you can match the frequency within the collective so precisely that all of a sudden you have a contact with your extraterrestrial and you're in a spaceship and you're moving forward in a completely different timeline. And that is the true ascension without dying. Mm-hmm. And you're going to study this in my materials. A lot of with that is connected with diet. And usually when you get to the point of juicing only and water, vegetarian and maybe vegetarianism, you by that time will be connected with your own guides, and they will connect you and they will tell you how to go through that protocol. You may detox and you may go through different things, but that level of mutation and jumping timelines and open as stargates to shift to another totally above the structure of the reality. It has to be done through when you already have a contact, because otherwise it becomes very dangerous, because you need the mind to accept the structure of the quantum structure, how the field works. And you need the body to become mind and body, one unit and coherent resonance to jump timelines, which are completely above the structure of 3D and 5D. Because usually the extraterrestrials, they operate above the structure of 5D. They may appear, but if you want to go, for example, see your Pleiadians, they're usually 7D structure. That means 7 dimension, which has its own frequency that your mind and body have to jump from 3D to 45D. 4D is a transition to 5D, and you will be able to have to be able to hold the frequency vibration of their consciousness. Mm-hmm. And this is when you are guided through your own guide. So don't try to listen to this person and that person. And by the way, in 10 days, you're not going to become a vegetarian. Okay, that's right. You may practice something, but if you watch my detox videos, you will see that it took me 1 year of elimination diet. Every 2 weeks, I was eliminating some kind of a food, one food, while I was eating everything else. Imagine you eat normally, you eliminate only the beef while you juicing the protocol of my juicing. And before you do that, you have to have a doctor's supervision and nutritionist, and always blood work to see how you're doing, because everybody's body is different. And you also need an allergenic test to make sure you're not allergic to these fruits and vegetables, okay? If you have pain in the stomach, look for leaky gut, and I strongly recommended gluten-free and dairy-free. Okay, gluten destroys the gut flora, and there is a probiotics that I recover my son's stomach, and is not on the video. On the video, you have VSL. The VSL company, the doctor took the formula and moved to Visbiome and probiotic.
I'll put the link in the description.
Yeah, that you can take, and we were taking that with distilled water for twice a day for repair of the tissue in the gut flora. You know, that's how we did it.
Yeah. So I'm hearing a lot of cancel, alt, delete. I come from a place of lack. And not even saying that, just I come from a place of abundance. I come from a place of gratitude. I come from a place of if there's not enough bread or sweet potatoes or things for this Thanksgiving meal, I will find it in another store. It's no problem. Mm-hmm. You adopt this attitude of changing the way you think in your own structure. And it just brings back, know thyself, know thyself. You've got to work on yourself in order to change that. And the collective is what I'm hearing you say as well.
Yeah, but you also can have, even for example, you can find and you don't have the money and you can find, don't feel sad. This is the time when you have to switch the frequency. You're going to study this from my material. Exactly when you start feeling sad, your own consciousness is telling you, wait a minute, you know, you drop the resonance and you're going to, that's why you're feeling this way. And you have to say, oh, thank you so much for letting me know.
Yes.
Now I need to raise my vibration back to normal so I can start feeling happy. And by the way, when you start doing that, you start projecting this into the field, this new frequency now from understanding, and you may have a neighbor that goes, oh my God, what are you doing? Don't be by yourself. Come and have a Thanksgiving with us. At that moment, don't put your ego and feel bad. Exactly the opposite. Be happy and know that you, as a creator, manifested somebody to call you so you don't be alone. Okay, so this is how it works, guys. It's actually you, the creator, and you're projecting everything. So if you know everything, you know what happens? Fear disappears. When you learn the quantum structure, the fear disappears. And you're starting to play this virtual reality game of frequency, because that's what really is. You want to study this.
And it's an amazing feeling. Well, I know our time is up. Stay put. I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody. All Marina's information will be in my link. Her links will be in the description. Have a wonderful and blessed holiday with your family if you celebrate Thanksgiving. And please re-listen to this. And we do appreciate your likes, your shares, your support by commenting. It helps the algorithms to get this around to more people. All right. Many blessings. And again, Marina, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Happy holidays.
Bye.